Well. Good afternoon, West Ham fans. Us, the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Nuno Espirito Santo, or as I'm going to call him, Super Nez, because he had NES and Nez, and yeah, so I'm going to call him Super Nez. That's my new name for him. So Super Nez. He has just finished his press conference ahead of the game against Brentford on Monday. Questions about the home form, the boycott, team news, international breaks, all that stuff we're going to get through. Don't forget to check out Match Bingo. There's a little QR code down there. Download the app. You can do us a really big favor and download that. And anything you put in, deposit-wise, put the code WHN, all in capitals, you get 200% on your deposit bonus. Absolute bloody bargain. Right, so let's talk team news. That's what we want. There we go. Yep, team news. There we go. So basically, it's as we were. Fulkrug out. He's had a scan, which obviously is never good. So we're waiting on the results. It depends on the scan. Hopefully it's soon. Apart from that, it's just Georgie's out. The others are all okay. And obviously now they've got lots of options. There was questions about, where's 𝗙𝗪𝗟𝗟𝗪 and where's James Ward-Prowse going to fit into the squad. He goes, we have a few days to go. We still have to make some decisions. Everyone in the squad is important. I'll be honest, listening to Nuno today, he's charmed me. He has charmed me. He seems such a lovely bloke. He just comes across so well in press conferences. In terms of whether he's implemented any changes, changed the routine, taken ketchup off the menu, that type of thing, we haven't changed anything. Just implementing routines. And he thought, well, I hope they don't have ketchup. So no doubt ketchup will be banned in the canteen, but it's not already. But the sounds of it, obviously Monday is a crucial game for us. And obviously home form isn't been the best for a long time. And asked about that, asked his reasonings. He goes, it's hard to analyse what's happened before. He basically said it's unfair for me to question what has happened before. We want to improve, and we know home form is important. It's up to us to be close to the fans so we can change everything. And that was sort of the narrative. Obviously, he was asked a few questions about the boycott. Speaking of the boycott, we do have Bubbles from Hammers United. We have Paul talking with Anton at 6 o'clock live. So jump on there and have a chat with him about everything to West Ham, and obviously including the protests and the boycott. Asked about the boycott, he goes, well, I wish all our fans will join us as supporters. It's up to us to give back to the fans so they can grow close to us. We as a squad focus on the task to complete. He basically said we in essence said we ignore the fact that there'll be a boycott. We've got a job to do, and we want to do well on Monday. So actually, very diplomatic, as you would assume. It being his first home game, he's excited in terms of really looking forward to it. We know Brentford have specific routines, long throws, that type of thing. The touch finding, kick off as well. I fucking hate that. We have to be ready for that, but it's how he competes and be as a team, and that this is our priority, not our priority. West Ham. Oh dear. Another spelling mistake there in their coverage. And that's true. It is about it's our priority really in terms of what we do. He was asked about Brentford a bit more specifically in a bit, but obviously international break. As he said, he's been keeping an eye on the international players. It's a privilege, an honour to have so many players playing on international duty. But asked about his time with the current squad who didn't go, because it's always hard to work in international break. But those who stayed, we worked really hard and we're really pleased. Looking ahead isn't important. What's important is what's next, and that's Brentford. That was in reference to a question around January transfers and stuff. He goes, we're still putting stuff together. This was about working with the team and working with the backroom staff. And again, we'll talk about that in a minute. He goes, the players worked hard. They were great. The players are here. We're getting closer as a group and we're working really well, which makes us proud. Of course, he watched not out. They must have a spell check on the West Ham players in international. Some of them are happy. Some of them not so happy because of the results, but we're proud. What have you done today to make you feel proud? Qualify for the World Cup, probably. Also, during the international break, there was the announcement of the permanent appointments of the likes of Mark Robson and Potsy and Gerard and Billy in the first team coaching staff. Asked about the influence Dave had in terms of teaching him the West Ham way. And he, for someone who's only been in the job for 3 or 4 weeks, he's already referencing the West Ham way pretty much every interview, because they've taught me a lot. Not only understanding the club, but also the players. They've been in contact with them before and they know them better. They've been really, really helpful for me, as you can imagine. Asked how he's settling in, coming into East London. He goes, it's not easy to find accommodation. It's not a priority. He says, basically, I spend 80% of my time at the training ground, so I'm not really fussed. I love this man. Adapting to a new city. Well, he's not really new. He was at Spurs for a couple of months, wasn't he? More importantly, he's adapted to a new club and where I'm working. He's very, very good when it comes to press conferences. Asked about Brentford. Good team, compete well. Since we watched the last game, they're very, very strong. They have a lot of threats. They have good players. They're good at set pieces. So it's going to be a really tough game. And, you know, it is a relegation 6-pointer. And actually, if you look at the teams and the fixtures that are happening over this weekend, there's a lot of relegation stories. You know, a lot of people around the same positions are playing each other. So it's going to be quite an interesting weekend in terms of results and how that affects the table come Monday night after the game. A couple of players were picked out for questioning. One was Somerville. Asked about Cree. He goes, he's got a lot of talent. Your speed, very aggressive one-on-one. It's up to us to manage the ball and get it to our front players at the right time. That's meant to say. And that's very true. You know, we don't want Cree pissing about. You know, we want him where he's going to really hurt people, and that is in the final third. You know, that is getting into the getting the ball at the right time. Makes perfect sense. It's quite simple. And then obviously there was a question about obviously Fulkrug out. And the battle between the Callums in terms of who's going to start. And he goes, you know, it's a healthy position to fight. We've got both those players are in different generations, different times of their lives as well. They're different players, but it's a good situation to be in. I don't think it is, to be honest. In all honesty, I really respect in terms of how he was came across today. But that last question, no, we're not in a good position because of the fact of we bought Paulie in the summer and relied on someone who is arguably very injury prone in terms of Nicholas Fulkrug. Anyway, and that was it. Not nice. And a decent press conference I would be happy with. You know, takeaways. Obviously, was very keen to not really talk much about. Didn't specifically talk about the boycott, but you would assume he wouldn't do anyway. But I think actually, to be fair, he left it open to interpretation to say, look, people have got a right to do, what they seem right. We'd love them to be here, but if they're not, fair enough. We want to make sure they want to come back. And I think that was actually a really clever way of handling that question, in all honesty. That's it. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Don't forget to give it a hype as well. Let me just tell you again, Anton has got Bubbles, Paul from Hammers United on the channel tonight, 6 p.m, talking about Brentford, talking about the plans, talking about everything that's to do with Hammers United and West Ham at the moment. So if you want to come and chat with Paul, jump on, put some questions, all that type of stuff will be done with Anton. And until next time, my friends, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and I'll see you later, motherfuckers.